Dubai, a city that rises from the desert with its flashy architecture and promise of lavishness, has long been a symbol of opulence, modernity, and has become a global playground for the wealthy. Yet beyond the shimmering facades of luxury, there is a narrative often overshadowed, a tale of human rights challenges, labor issues, and the complexities of progress amidst staggering growth. The backbone of Dubai's exponential growth lies in its reliance on a massive migrant workforce, predominantly hailing from South Asia and other regions. These workers play a pivotal role in the city's construction boom, erecting its iconic skyscrapers and fueling its economic engine. However, this integral workforce faces a myriad of challenges that often go unnoticed behind the glitzy facade of the city skyline. Reports from various reputable sources, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have shed light on the grim reality experienced by many migrant workers. Wages often fall below living standards, with some laborers receiving meager compensation for their arduous work. The working conditions, especially in the scorching heat of the desert, are reaching up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, or 45 degrees Celsius. The work is strenuous, and safety measures at construction sites have been cited as inadequate, leading to preventable accidents and fatalities. The kafala system, which ties a worker's legal status to their employer or sponsor, has been a focal point of controversy.
The conditions they find themselves in are very close to slavery. It's certainly indentured servitude. They can't leave a company and work for another company. They can't leave the country because of the debt that they find themselves in.
This system has left many workers vulnerable to exploitation, as their ability to change jobs or even leave the country is contingent upon their employer's consent. Consequently, cases of labor rights abuses, including non-payment of wages, excessive working hours, and substandard accommodations in labor camps have been reported. Living conditions for many migrant workers are often cramped, with multiple individuals residing in small spaces, lacking adequate facilities such as proper toilets. These labor camps, while serving as temporary homes for many, fail to meet basic hygiene standards and offer limited access to essential services. These migrant workers have become literal slaves with no way to get back to their homes and make up more than 88% of the UAE's total workforce. More than 8 million people currently are subjected to these conditions as the rest of Dubai continues to ignore them. Despite reforms aimed at improving labor laws and conditions, implementation remains a significant challenge. The pace of change in addressing these entrenched issues has been slow, leaving many workers in precarious situations and raising questions about the effectiveness of reforms and safeguarding their rights.
We're owed 3 months of salary. We're owed leave salary, insurance money. They're not giving us any of this. They've given us tickets and told us, now go back to your country, but we're not going back. They've broken down our rooms. We've not had electricity and water for the past 3 or 4 months.
In tandem with labor concerns, Dubai grapples with the insidious issue of sex trafficking and exploitation. Although the city supposedly prohibits such activities, reports have surfaced of sex parties funded by the local elites, as well as instances of human trafficking. Dubai is promoted by influencers as a utopia, attracting vulnerable individuals who are often enticed with false promises of employment or of a better life, who then find themselves trapped in exploitative situations, far from the glamorous image that the city projects. Multiple reality TV stars and Instagram models have come out with abhorrent stories on things they were forced to do while at these parties, some ranging from mildly creepy at best to others that just from mentioning would get this video taken down. On top of all of this, Dubai also faces credible accusations of torture, legitimate torture, for people expressing themselves or speaking out against the government. Quote, authorities held human rights defender Ahmed Mansour in solitary confinement for the entire year and deprived him of glasses, books, a bed, mattresses and pillows, and personal hygiene items. Such prolonged solitary confinement, especially in combination with a degrading and inhumane treatment, rises to the level of torture. While Dubai presents itself as a global hub of prosperity and innovation, the plight of its migrant workers and victims of exploitation raises critical questions about the city's ethical responsibilities and the moral implications of its growth. The need for comprehensive reforms that prioritize human rights, fair labor practices, and the protection of the most vulnerable within its borders remains a pressing concern in Dubai's journey towards progress and development.